Welcome to my channel, SL Medium. This is Sen. Please remember that this video is for entertainment purposes only. All right, everyone. New series of, as I explained, new series of readings, new series of channel readings. So, this is new series of channel readings for weekly channel reading. Sorry, I was trying to do two things at the same time. So for this new series, I am going to use, I have 3 oracle card decks, which I'm going to be drawing from. These decks. And I'm also going to draw to clarify or to get more information. I'm going to draw from the usual deck, which is this one here. But as I draw from the other decks, from the other oracle cards, I will show you which ones that I use. So what I will cover, I feel called to do these new readings. So what I will cover during these readings is and I still make it, for the moment, I still make it very general for divine masculine, divine feminines, for twin flames, basically. So the readings, sorry, I don't want to drop this. So in the readings, I'm going to look at the energies for the twin flames, for divine masculine, divine feminine. I'm going to look at the energies with this card, which is basically when it comes to the relationships for the DFs and their counterpart, the DMs and their counterpart. So I'm going to be looking at, with this deck, which is from this little book. So I'm going to be looking at that aspect of the energy for the week. I'm also going to draw from another deck, which is this one here, Daily Guidance. And from that deck, unless I'm called to draw less or more, I should draw 5. I'll draw 5 cards from that deck. And then for the energy concerning the life purpose or work, I will be drawing from these oracle cards. And for these oracle cards and the romance angels, I don't know how many will come out. But from the daily guidance, it should be minimum of 5, or it could be more. It could be, I'm hoping it won't be less. And I think we'll just begin. So I'm going to start. Okay, I feel called to draw from the daily guidance. And I'm just going to move this deck here so that, all right. So this is the energy for divine feminines. Whoops, oh shoot. No, that's too many cards and a little bit too much power. Okay, that's too many cards. So the energy for the week that starts February 13th all the way to February, I'm guessing 19th, because there's a new week that starts on February 20th. So February 13 to 19. So the energy for divine feminine. The energy for divine feminine. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll probably take one more. So the energy for divine feminine for the week of for the week of February 13. I have giving and receiving, wedding, child, and blessing in disguise, and have confidence. Okay, so these are the 5 daily guidance. I'm going to go for the romance angels. And for this one, I go with what I'm called to draw. So whatever comes out, I'm called. So for the week of February 13, for divine feminines, what is the energy with the romance angels? Okay, so we have the one here, heart-to-heart conversation. And mind you, some of the energy might work very well. And obviously, it's kind of fitting to see heart-to-heart conversation. It fits in very well with Valentine's Day coming up on Monday, on the 14th. And I'm going to draw the Life Purpose Oracle. So for the romance angels, we have heart-to-heart conversation. For life purpose, for the week of February 13, for divine feminines. What do we have? For the week of February 13, for divine feminines. For divine feminines, February 13. What do we have now? Whatever flips out, we have to be a little bit patient here. I want at least one card, so at least one message. We don't have to get more than one message, but at least one. So for the, okay, here we go. Thank you. All right. So the card that we have here for life purpose is support. All right, let's take a look at this. So for the daily guidance, we have giving and receiving, we have wedding, child, blessing in disguise, and have confidence. For the week of February 13, divine feminines, I am getting, not everything is as it seems. There's an energy of, I'm getting there's an energy of confusion. And this might resonate more with the single divine feminines, or the separated, or the divine feminines in a connection, going through, going through troubled waters. So there's I'm getting here that towards the beginning of the week, the idea of giving and receiving is really important. I get the feeling that divine feminines, you give a lot of yourself. And that would be understandable coming from the wedding card and the child card. So what I'm getting is that for the wedding, we're talking about not necessarily the wedding itself, but I guess within, for those divine feminines who are not separated, who are with their counterparts, um, that there's a tendency to give a lot to your partner, to give a lot to your counterpart, to give a lot to your children, for those of you who have children. But there's not much receiving going on. And what I'm getting is the energy is asking you, or divine is asking you, to remember that it's important to have balance. It's important for you to receive as well as giving. And it's quite interesting that the first card is giving and receiving, considering that the first, if we consider the days of the week, the obviously the first day of the week, in the sense that we start the reading with February 13, would mean the first day of the week would be Sunday. But here, giving and receiving, yeah, you can see it, giving and receiving, I see it more here as Monday, and Monday being February 14th is Valentine's Day. So you'd be more inclined to receive, on that day, simply because it is Valentine's Day. But what divine is trying to remind you is that giving and receiving is on a daily basis. And I get the feeling, there's a sense or a feeling for a lot of divine feminines to forget to nurture yourself, to forget to give yourself as much as you give others. And if you give yourself as much as you give others, then you restore the balance within your own energy, and automatically your divine counterpart mirrors that and will give you as much as you give them. So that's what I'm getting. And although this dynamic here of the first three cards and the giving and receiving, although it may seem complicated and time consuming and energy consuming, divine wants to remind you that everything that's happening is a blessing in disguise. Or chances are, if I shuffled the deck, I don't want to do it now, but if I shuffled the deck, I would probably get the card that says everything happens for a reason. So although it may be time consuming and energy consuming to remember all of this, the giving and receiving within your marriage or your relationship and your family, that it's just as important for you to give to others as it is to give to yourself. So whatever you do to love other people, it's to love yourself as well. Whatever you do, it's to do it to yourself as well. And that it is a blessing in disguise, that although it may seem like a mountain to climb, to start thinking about yourself, to start giving to yourself as much as you give to others, remember that it is only for your benefit. It's only for your own good, Divine Feminine. And this one here is have confidence. You can't see it as well because it's far. So have confidence. And what I'm getting for have confidence is really, and it says the first, where does it say? Yeah, the first sentence of have confidence, it says moving forward does not necessarily require you to have confidence in yourself. Okay? So really moving forward and giving yourself as much as you give others, loving yourself as much as you love others, and doing for yourself as much as you do for others, it doesn't require confidence. It doesn't require for you to have the experience in it and to know exactly what to do already with it. And it doesn't require you to be a superwoman and know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. It just requires you to start doing it. It just requires you to look at what it is that you do for others, that what it is that you do for others that helps in giving more to yourself. Okay. And here for the Romance Angels, the Oracle card, we had a heart-to-heart conversation. Okay. And it's interesting because it really ties in with the first three cards here, that if your counterpart and your family is not used to you giving as much to yourself as you give to them, to love yourself as much as you love them, or to do as much for yourself as you do for them, they might they'll start wondering, okay, what's going on with you? Like, you're acting different, or you're not your usual self. So you might have to sit down with your counterpart or sit down with your family and really, like it says on the card, to honestly discuss your feelings. Okay. And obviously, you beginning that that process, or you beginning on that, getting started on that road to giving to yourself, requires a discussion with your counterpart or your family, so that they understand what's going on, and they will have feelings about this. Like they will have a reaction to having decided to begin on the road to giving to yourself. But having a heart-to-heart explaining to your counterpart and your family that this is something that I need to do for myself, and it doesn't mean that I disappear, it doesn't mean that I go away, it's just that. And it really ties in to the last one, which is support. As divine feminines, we tend to forget. Like we tend to come 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th in the order of giving. And deciding to get on the road to giving to yourself and loving yourself, discussing that with your counterpart or discussing that with your family, and really putting the motives on the table, and putting their reactions and the emotions on the table, can only do one thing, and it's to bring support. So obviously it brings support for yourself. You bring yourself support. Your family will bring support. In having a heart-to-heart, your family knows that your family is clear on one thing, is that you will still support them. It's just that it's going to become a team effort, rather than divine feminine does everything, and divine masculine and the family or the children are on the receiving end of everything, and they can give but minimally, and they receive a lot. So it's important to restore balance. And okay, so that's the energy that I get for that. And I get from the oracle cards for the week. I don't necessarily feel the need to clarify anything, because really they're pretty self-explanatory, and the sequence is pretty logical for the energy for Divine Feminine, but I'm still going to look into the tarot to see if there's anything, any other messages that we need for Divine Feminines. Whoa. For Divine Feminines for the week of February 3rd. Okay, that's way too many cards. Way too many cards. All right. So what other messages do we have for Divine Feminines for the week of February 3rd? February 13th, sorry. February 13th. So what other messages do we have for Divine Feminines for the week of February 20th? Gee whiz. Sorry, February 13th. The poor cards. I didn't sleep very well last night. Didn't have much sleep, so I'm kind of mixed up here. All right, so what other messages do we have for Divine Feminines for the week of February 13th, if I focus? For the week of February 13th, what other messages do we have? Some cards wanted to pop out. What other messages do we have for Divine Feminines for the week of February 13th? For the week of February 13th. Some wanted to pop out, but they really have to fly out. Okay. Okay, that's not that bad. All right, so we have, all right, I'm just going to show you. We have the moon, and I'm hearing secrets. We have the sun. I'm hearing happiness. We're hearing the chariot. That we have the chariot. Am I hearing anything? Okay, I'm hearing Cancerian. I'm getting Cancerian energy, nurturing energy. And this one here, which is Minor Arcana, and it refers to the Six of Cups. And interestingly enough, okay, I'm being drawn to the first sentence here, embrace your inner child. So really, from this one, it says a lot about loving yourself and giving to yourself. Just from this one, what I get is that really ties in well. It's really treat yourself the way you treat your children. So if you don't have any children, imagine if you had children, or imagine that, or just think on how you act, or how you would act with children, whether it's nephews, nieces, the neighbors' kids, but how would you act with children? How would you make sure that they have everything they need and everything? So imagine that and project that onto you. Now we have 3 major arcanas, and again, I said the moon, I was hearing secrets. The sun, I was hearing happiness. And the chariot, obviously, I was hearing Cancerian energy, nurturing energy. So it ties in really well with the energy that we got from these 3. Tie in really well with the energy that we got from the heart-to-heart conversation. So what I'm getting now is that in deciding to embark on the road, or to walk on the road to giving to yourself, like I was saying earlier, your counterpart and your divine counterpart in your family, or your family, could say, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like, there's something off with Divine Feminine. There's something like, what's going on? Did we do something? So it might come off Divine Feminines giving more to yourself, loving yourself more, nurturing yourself can come off to your divine counterpart in your family or your family as she has a secret. There's something she's not saying, she's not telling us. Hence why it's so important to have a heart-to-heart conversation, and it ties in really well. So I would put the moon here with the heart-to-heart conversation, and I would put the sun here with the support. So obviously, if it feels like you're harboring a secret, you're harboring something, something's off with Divine Feminine, because she's not like the usual. She's not giving 200 million% of herself. So having a heart-to-heart conversation will bring a sense of happiness, because not only will your divine counterpart and or family still feel that you are there, that you are still available for the support you've always given, but you will also get the support from them. And so automatically, and if you're single and you say, well, I don't have a divine counterpart, I have a family, but it's not like my family, it's the family I come from. But there's still a sense of happiness, because your family or the people who surround you know that you have decided to give as much to yourself as you give to others. And so automatically people will say, oh, of course, that makes a lot of sense. And so this will sort of, all these 4 cards will sort of bring a sense of harmony again, as in, okay, there's no secret. The Divine Feminine has just decided to, change course, change direction, give as much to herself, give as much to herself as she gives to others. She's happy. We're happy. We still feel supported. She feels supported. Perfect. So this is kind of very harmonious. These 4 cards together, very harmonious. The energy is absolutely wonderful. And I would sort of put, I guess I would put this here, which means that it, being determined to restore balance into your energy and the energy you give to others. It also brings in, this ties in with, I would say, the Cancerian energy with children. I don't know if you all know, but it's well known that Cancers are very nurturing, and that they tend to nurture other people almost to a smothering way. So, but they tend to nurture other people the way they would nurture children. So I think that ties in really well. And that's it. That's what I have for you for the week of February 13th. I was going to do, and I think I'm going to do it now. So I'm just going to remove these cards from the table, and I'm going to do in the same reading. I wasn't sure if I was going to have the time, but I might have the time. So I'm going to do the reading for Divine Masculines. So I will start again with this here. I'm just going to shuffle really well. So this second part of the reading, the channel reading, is for Divine Masculines. So what do we need to know for Divine Masculines for the week of February 13? All right. Start. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. What more can we get for the week of February 13 for Divine Masculine? For the week of February 13 for Divine Masculine. For the week of February 13 for Divine Masculine. Okay, this one's harder. So for Divine Masculine for the week of February 13. For Divine Masculine. Okay, whoa. All right. Okay, I'm being called to take that one for sure. And which ones do I take? Okay, very good. Thank you. The last two. All right. So this is for Divine Masculine. This is interesting. We have giving and receiving, same as DF, same as Divine Feminine. New partner, focus on service, entrepreneur, and notice the signs. Okay. So for Divine Masculine for the week of February 13. All right. Do we need more? Do we need more for Divine Masculine for the week of February 13? Okay, wow. Oh, do I keep them? No, okay. Do I keep them? Okay, I keep all three. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing the pattern here. Okay, so let me just put them here. I'm already seeing the energy for this. There's, for the week of February 13, Divine Masculine, I'm seeing a big focus on masculine, on your masculine energy. So for the week of February 13 for Divine Masculine. For the week of February 13 for Divine Masculine. Week of February 13 for Divine Masculine. Week of February 13 for Divine Masculine. Okay, bottom of the deck. Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Now this reading might not be as lengthy as long as Divine Feminine, simply because the energy that I'm getting is, I could even put like these four together. So we have new partner, focus on service, entrepreneur, and notice the signs. Okay. What I'm getting is for the week of February 13, there's a great focus for Divine Masculines. There's a great focus on, I guess, your life purpose, on your work. Okay, there's a great focus on your masculine energy, which is confidence, it's leadership, it's, you know, business, it's going to work. You know, if we were in the Middle Ages, it would be go to war and fight for your land. Yeah, so I'm gonna put it like that. So the first card that we get is giving and receiving. I'm not going to get too much into it because I explained with Divine Feminine, but it really ties into Divine Feminine's energy. The idea of understanding that Divine Feminine needs to look after herself, and for that she needs to give as much to herself as she gives to others. So for Divine Masculine, it's really recognizing how much Divine Masculine, how much we receive, how much Divine Masculine receives from the Divine Feminine, recognizing it and admitting that there's a need to restore balance. And I would tie it in with this card here, which is, it's safe for you to love. Okay. It's not, and what I'm getting is it's not because Divine Feminine wants to invest her energy or part of her energy onto herself. It's not because she wants to do that that it means you can't love her anymore, or that it means that you can't love yourself anymore because you have to give more to Divine Feminine. So it's safe for you to love, and it is safe for you to give a part of it to her, because she doesn't disappear. DF doesn't disappear. DF has only reduced, let's say, to 50% what she gives to others. And to restore balance, she expects you, DM, to do the same thing. So instead of taking or receiving 90% of the time, it's time for you to recognize that it is okay to give 50% to yourself and 50% to her, because she already gives you 50% and she keeps 50% for herself. I don't know if you understand what I feel like. I'm talking to in mathematical terms, and it might be easier. So this is for the part, like the relationship between DM and DF. So really, it's safe for you to love. It's safe for you to love yourself, and it's safe for you to love her. It's safe for you to give to her as much as you have received so far. And giving to yourself is also going to help her give to herself. Now, this one here, I have soulmate, finance and career, and forgiving and learning. Now, for the soulmate part, there's an understanding or maybe a misconception to some extent that soulmate is only in love. And you would say, okay, well, I already have my DF. What is that soulmate coming in for? What we need to remember is soulmates can be just about anybody. They can be best friends, they can be our children, they can be our parents, they can be co-workers, they can be just about anybody. Soulmates come into our life to teach us something. Just as much as you are a soulmate to those soulmates, and you are there, you get into their life to teach them something. So the soulmate, and I put it with finance and career and forgiving and learning. I put them all three together because what I'm seeing or what I'm getting is that because there's so much focus on your masculine energy this week, that there's so much focus on that obviously there's going to be a big focus on relationships. So relationships, what I'm getting here, it's relationships with coworkers, relationships relating to work. Okay? It's really your masculine energy, and whether or not you like it, as a DM, it is much I can't say faster, much easier, much more convenient. I would say maybe it's much more natural for your masculine energy to be experienced, or to take over. Okay, it's much easier, much more natural for your masculine energy to take over at work than it is to take over at home. Okay, men. Okay, divine masculines were created to go out there and hunt. So when you are at work, you have much more the opportunity. It's much more natural to work with other people. It's much more natural to be a leader, to be confident. Much more natural than it is at home, because at home it's the nurturing space, and the nurturing space And I'm not being sexist here. The nurturing space at home is really where the family is. So it doesn't mean that you don't exert your masculine energy in your family. You're still a leader in your family. You're still a provider. You're still the educator in your family. It doesn't change that fact. It's a different energy that you exert at work. So that's why we get soulmate. So I would say soulmate really, um, pay attention. Your coworkers are there. Like if there are any challenges, any conflicts, those conflicts are there to teach you something. Okay. And you are also there to teach your colleagues something. And obviously, finances and career, you focus on that. It's work. Forgiving and learning, it's really through all the experiences that you get at work. Um, there are all kinds of challenges, all kinds of conflicts, all kinds of discussions that go on, and you are all part of a team to learn something, to evolve within the workspace. And it's really to forgive yourself for any kind of behavior that you may deem incorrect, and have the heart or the strength to say, okay, yeah, to apologize to yourself, to forgive yourself, but also to apologize to other people. There's nothing more masculine. There's nothing that exudes confidence more than having the heart to apologize for having done something wrong, or apologize to somebody, asking for forgiveness for any kind of situation, for any kind of behavior. And obviously, with that comes the learning part. Okay, so I went through this situation. I realized that in this kind of situation, I tend to react this way, and it may not be very conducive for business. So I'm going to try from now on to refrain from reacting like this. And obviously, we're all humans. It's not because you're a divine masculine that automatically you say, okay, I'm done. I forgive myself, and I'm never going to do this again. I'm going to try to never do this again. We're humans. It may happen again. The important thing is to forgive yourself and try to learn from that situation what it tells you about yourself. All right? Now, being divine masculines, and this ties in really well with all of this, being divine masculines, going through the process of the work week, and exerting your confidence in your leadership at home as well as at work, it might be a little confusing to know, okay, well, at work, when I act like this, when I have a meeting with my colleagues, whatever I bring to the table, my colleagues listen, and we have very productive discussions. We always come to good solutions to try, and things seem to work in that way. So maybe I'll do the same at home. And considering now that DF wants to give herself more love, then I can try that at home too. So, okay, we'll start with, family dinner, where we'll recreate some kind of boardroom meeting. You'll notice really quickly that having a boardroom meeting with your DF at the dinner table may not work as well as in the office. And if you have children, I can promise you one thing, unless you have robotic children, I can promise you one thing, that if you have children, it's not going to work like a boardroom meeting. Okay? It's really not going to work like a boardroom meeting. So this card ties in, you'd be like, okay, yeah, good, fine, okay, but what does that all mean? Obviously, here, study, okay? We're not saying that you need to take a book, get the dictionary out, and find what the word family meeting means. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying in terms of studying, it's really to look at the two situations, look at the two spaces, and observe. Observe and learn. Okay? Observe what happens when you have that, and I'll put it in quotation marks, when you have that boardroom meeting at the dinner table. Observe how, like, what is it that you need to adjust to make it more conducive to your family space, to your home space. And that'll bring much more harmony. And from what I can see, restoring the balance for you, DM, also means bringing in that masculine energy of being confident, but also being a leader. There's nothing DFs like more than when they know that they can trust their DMs to be the leader in a relationship. And when I say the leader, I'm not saying that you order her around, that you order your DF around. It's that she can trust you. She can trust that if you make a decision, it's for the greater good of the relationship, greater good of the family. She can trust that if you need to make a decision as a couple or as a family, if you need to make a decision, she can trust that she will be heard in that boardroom meeting. Okay? So if DF does not see that she can be heard, harmony is not there, and balance is not restored. All right? For this, I think I'm getting that this reading is pretty clear, but I am called, it's really interesting. I was called to look at the bottom of the deck for the tarot, and there's nothing more telling than this one. High Priestess. The High Priestess is very intuitive. So what this tells me is, if you want to restore balance, number 2, if you want to restore balance, rely on your intuition. Trust your intuition. Okay? Your intuition, you observe and you try to adjust. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It's not going to happen in the span of a dinner time, a dinner period. So trust your intuition, and your intuition will guide you to what you need to do. Yeah, that's it. I was curious as to this here for the Queen of Ariel, which would be the Queen of Cups, and I was drawn to mature, practical, generous, happy, and it sort of ties in with what I was just saying, that doing this, trusting your intuition to navigate through the difference between being a DM at work and being a DM in the home space, with working with your colleagues at work and working with your DF or your and your family at home in the home space. It's not going to be the same thing, and there's going to be a need for readjustment to bring back balance and to also bring harmony amongst the entire thing. And just as a quick note to conclude these two readings, DM, if you are single, what all of this would mean very quickly, it's, if you are single, remember to remember, remember your masculine role. Remember your masculine energy needs to be adjusted from the workspace to the dating space, if you will. So if you're dating, remember that, and this may sound, I don't want to offend anybody here, but your DF may, in restoring balance between the two, if you agree, that's what I'm getting, if you agree to restore balance with those you date or those you meet, there'll be a greater sense of safety in love, a greater sense of security in love, both on the part of the DF and on your part. So it's, again, a give and take type of situation to restore balance. And also the way that you deal with coworkers as a leader, as a confident leader, the way that you deal with coworkers cannot be the same way that you deal with the divine feminines that you meet or that you date. So remember that your attitude or the way you do things at work and the way you do things in your personal life is two different things. All right? So hopefully some of this resonated with both you divine feminines or divine masculines. If it did resonate, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Should you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And what's the other thing? I'm going on to 55 minutes. What's the other thing I wanted to say? If ever you have questions about any information, questions, there's the information in the description box. And if ever you don't find your answer in the description box, then just please feel free to email me. All my information is there. So on that note, this was the reading for both DF and DM, Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, for the week of February 13 to 2022. And I will see you next time. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me. If you like this video, please feel free to click the like button, share, and subscribe if you have not done that already. Any additional information you might need is in the description box below. Feel free to email me if you do not find what you are looking for. Videos should be posted as often as on a bi-weekly or weekly basis, so consider hitting that bell to be notified. And on that note, I will see you next time.